going to get started in less than a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the 30th Annual 21st Ward Sports Hall of Fame Annual Induction Banquet. For those who do not know me, my name is Frank Gagliano and I will be your host this evening. The Committee of the Hall of Fame welcomes all of you. 30 years ago this week, we had our first induction banquet at Adam Kowalski Post, and we inducted our first 5 Hall of Famers. And they were John Boyce, the youth coach and mentor for thousands of children in the 21st Ward. Lou Bonder, the great basketball official and later basketball administrator. John Gray, the Olympic runner. Jesse Richardson, from Roxborough High School to the University of Alabama to the Philadelphia Eagles. And Harold Johnson, the boxer, the light heavyweight champion of the world. They were our first inductees. And I'm happy to report that 30 years later, the tradition continues. We have another fabulous class tonight. So far, the 21st Ward Sports Hall of Fame has 150 inductees in it. Tonight we will put 5 more in there. I encourage you all to read the bios of our new inductees prior to their induction after dinner, which is in the program book. Speaking of the program book, I would like you all to look at it now and open it up to page 1. Most recently, one of our Hall of Famers passed away, and that would be Duke Pennell. He was more than just a Hall of Famer. He was a wonderful ambassador to the 21st Ward. And Duke is in all 3 of our local Hall of Fames, the 21st Ward Sports Hall of Fame, the Summit Chapter Hall of Fame, and the Roxborough High School Hall of Fame. He was a wonderful football player, and he still holds the scoring record at Roxborough High School, where he won every known award. And later he played for the Wissahickon Hawks, a powerhouse in our community. Speaking for myself, I was a very good friend of Duke's, and some people tell me that I'm somewhat of a historian. And I give credit to 2 people for that. My dad, who, when I was small, I would meet people through him, and then he would tell me all about their athletic ability. And later in life, I sat and had many a conversation with Duke Pennell, and he would tell me about the players in his era, and he would put me right into the game with them. And I'm very proud that I knew Duke. So I would like to ask each and every one of us if we could have a moment of silence for Duke Pennell. Thank you. Now, if we could turn the page, we'll see a picture there of Joe Donahue. Joe Donahue was a lifelong community activist in the 21st Ward for sports and the community. And when Joe passed on, the AA set up a community service award at the Holy Family School, which is now the Holy Child School. And we'd like to congratulate last year's recipient, Matthew Levitz, for winning the award. And we also always want to thank Joe Donahue for the work that he did for our community. Now I'm going to ask each and every one of you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And please remain standing for the invocation immediately following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to bring to the podium our chaplain, Mr. Gene Leahy, who in a couple weeks will be celebrating his 18th year as a deacon from Holy Family. Our chaplain, Gene Leahy.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. As we begin tonight, we would like to, each of us in our own way, say a small prayer for those who we have honored in previous years, but who have been taken home by the Lord. We had some great men and we lost some great men. But it has been 30 years, and we just have to realize that we can't all do great things. We want to, but we can't. But we can all do the small things with great love. And our organization has a list of men who maybe they don't do great things, but we certainly do our share of the little ones. And I am just so proud to be a part of it. And I would just ask you to pause for a moment and think of those. Whether you knew them or you didn't know them, they were a part of our organization. They have been honored by us. They will never be forgotten by us. And I would ask you that whatever faith you profess, whatever God you believe in, be sincere in that faith and be strong in your beliefs, because our country so much needs each and every one of us in our own small ways. And let us ask God to bless us this evening for another successful banquet. And we ask that He also bless this food which we are to eat. And as always, we ask these favors in the name of Jesus the Lord. Amen.
Please be seated. If you haven't noticed this spotlight on me this evening, it's from Joe Melizia. He's operating it. And each Hall of Famer, each new Hall of Famer this evening will receive a complimentary DVD. And if you would like to purchase one, please see Joe during dinner or immediately after the banquet. Please enjoy your meal, and we'll be back to you momentarily. Thank you. Okay, we're going to get started while you're finishing up on your dessert. And as always, the Keenan family has supplied us with another fabulous meal. And we'd like to thank Bill and Beth and Walter, and especially Kate, for putting up with us this year. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you the president of the 21st Ward Athletic Association. A very recognizable figure who you've seen all over Roxborough on the baseball fields, football fields, and whatnot. Our president, Ernie Borelli.
Thank you, Frank. Could everybody please join me for a round of applause for Frank Gagliano. He took us on his shoulders and done a great thing with it. Thank you very much, Frank. I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you very much for your attendance. We have a beautiful evening tonight. I'll tell you, packed house. It's great to see. I'd first like to introduce the board of 21st Ward AA. We have Paul Bennett, Vice President. Christo Fair, Treasurer. Some folks couldn't make it this evening, but the tremendous job they do, they deserve a round of applause also. Debbie Gratzinger is our Secretary. Joe Gratzinger is Executive Vice President. Executive Board Emeritus Lou Capiella. In 1974, some great folks got together and established this fine organization that we have. And we've installed 150 inductees into the Hall of Fame. And when you look at the folks who are inducted in the Hall of Fame, just a tremendous list of people. They've done some fabulous things, some great things on the ball fields, some great things with the community. And the folks inducted today will continue that legacy, and we're very fortunate to have them, and congratulations to all the inductees. Some of the groups that make up the 21st Ward AA, a lot of times they go unseen. The work that they do with the youth of our community is just tremendous. And I'll give you a list of them now. Please hold your applause till the end. We have the Indians, Tigers, Panthers, Roxbury Eagles, Wissahickon AA, 21st Ward Basketball, 21st Ward Junior League Baseball and Softball, the Orioles, Wrestling, 21st Ward Basketball. And what that does, the folks that are involved with this, the men and women, that's what makes our neighborhood so great, our 21st Ward A, which gives us something to be very proud of. You go to other areas of the city, other neighborhoods, there's nothing like this. The people coming together, people working hard with the passion for young people that we have, it's just tremendous. And a lot of times it goes unnoticed. So please join me with a round of applause for all the folks that do that hard work behind the scenes.
You're coming back up, right? You're coming back up, right?
Folks, thanks for coming out. Once again, round of applause for Frank Gagliano. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. I, too, would like to recognize some groups and some people that are here this evening. We have our Roxborough High Hall of Fame table in the back. The Summit chapter is also represented here tonight. George Jurek is one of the officers. The Roxborough Lions Club, would like to thank them for their generous support. Kowalski Post, Al Hammer and Leo Opella. Kowalski Post opens up their doors to all the teams and organizations in the community to have meetings at their facility. We'd like to also recognize the Wissahickon Hawks football team. There's many of them here this evening. And we also would like to say hello to the Toads. That is a group of golfers, mostly retired golfers, and some not so retired golfers. And they tee it up every Wednesday, and the master toad is here himself, Bud Rigner. Also, we have another golf organization, the Par 2 Club, and they are here. Paul Bennett represents them. We'd like to thank Jerry Farrell for his very generous donation. We also have here this evening, on my left, Joe Turkis from the Review. Joe, I don't know if you know Joe or not, but he's all over our community and doing a wonderful job covering us. We also have the Pennell family here. Connie is here, and the three boys, Billy, Bobby, and Mark, and Billy's wife, Carol. We also have Joe Flannery here, past president of the 24th Ward Athletic Association. These are the people that we like to recognize. This evening, as always, the Hall of Fame gives a plaque to each inductee, and also we have a citation from the state of Pennsylvania and a personal letter to each inductee from Mayor Nutter. The citation is always presented for our inductees by Kathy Mandarino. She represents the 194th District. Our state representative, Kathy Mandarino.
Thanks, Frank. Good evening, everyone. It's always great to be at Keenan's for another wonderful sports banquet. I think, let's see, I know this is number 30 for you guys, but if I can count this, Roxborough Sports Hall of Fame and Summit Chapter Sports Hall of Fame times 16 years in office, I think I've been to more than 30 sports banquets. But I know you have too, because I know there's a lot of overlap between the organizations, because what we're here to celebrate is the commitment of so many people in our community to making this the wonderful place to live and raise your family that it is. So it's good to be here tonight to acknowledge the athletic accomplishments of our honorees and their contributions to our community. I have brought formal citations from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives for each of the inductees that will be set aside for you when you get your award. But they're pretty little plaques, and you have a nice picture of the people's house, as we like to call it. And I'll just read a sample of the citation. They're each personalized for the accomplishments of each of our honorees. Whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania is always pleased to recognize those citizens who, through their outstanding achievements, bring great distinction upon themselves, their communities, and this Commonwealth. And whereas Kevin Boyle, Nina Serpak, Ron Maiden, Rob Petit Jr., Tom Shirley are being honored upon this day, May 4th, and inducted into the 21st Ward Athletic Association Sports Hall of Fame. And whereas, and then there's a paragraph specific to each of the inductees' accomplishments. Now therefore the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania extends hearty congratulations to each honoree upon their most noteworthy achievement, acknowledges their investment of skill and effort in competing on a level which demands perfection, and offers best wishes for continued success in all your endeavors. Thanks for all you have done, and thank you for being part of this wonderful evening.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy has to leave us. She has to go to Harrisburg tonight. She has appointments tomorrow. We had hoped that Mayor Nutter would be here, but with the city problems, he couldn't make it. But we have a personal letter to each inductee from the mayor, and I have asked a Hall of Famer to read the letter. And this particular person is a true treasure of the 21st Ward, and also the most recognizable person in the 21st Ward, Speedy Morris.
Thank you, Frank. I'd like to also congratulate tonight's honorees, Nina Serpak, Kevin Boyle, Tom Shirley, Rob Petit, and Ron Maiden for their great accomplishments. I had the opportunity to read the bios in the books, and all I can say is wow. Superb, outstanding, terrific, phenomenal. You deserve it. And again, home run, you guys that do the selection did a great job. It's an honor for me to read a letter to each of the inductees from our mayor, who I think is going to be an outstanding mayor. I think he's trying to do a great job, and I think he will do a good job. I'd like to also acknowledge Kathy. A lot of politicians. Now, I was almost one. I don't know if you know. Some of you may remember, I did run for city council. I was doing great until election day. Nobody voted for me, including my wife. She's lighting candles. I would lose. Now, my coach, Jerry Boyle, he voted 10 times for me. But Kathy Mandarino, whether it's election time or not election time, she's there. She's always there. She's a terrific public servant. And Kathy, thank you for all you do. Again, on behalf of our mayor, to each of the individuals, I'll read, this one's to Tom Shirley. Dear Mr. Shirley, I bid you an enthusiastic welcome to the 21st Ward Athletic Association Sports Hall of Fame's 30th Annual Induction Banquet. For more than 30 years, the 21st Board Athletic Association has united the best in leadership and management to help produce many of Philadelphia's finest athletes. This banquet is an opportunity to honor the award's players, coaches, and supporters, as well as those who have inspired and served as role models for our community's future athletes. I congratulate this year's worthy inductees to the Hall of Fame, Kevin Boyle, Nina Serpek, Ron Maiden, Robin Teet, and Tom Shirley. I also extend my best wishes to all tonight's honorees. Enjoy this special event. Sincerely, Mayor A. Nutter, Mayor of Philadelphia.
All right.
At this time, I'd like to introduce to you the Hall of Famers that are here this evening. And we have a tapestry of Hall of Famers here this evening. We have so many of them here. I'm so pleased to see it. And I'd like each Hall of Famer to please stand and remain standing until I call all the names. Bear with me. Gene Leahy represents his son, Bert Leahy. John Griffin. Speedy Morris. Jim Casanas represents his uncle, Jerry Casanas. Bill Murphy. Bill Pinnell represents his father, Duke Pinnell. Bobby Pinnell represents his uncle, Ralph Pinnell. Mark Pinnell represents his cousin, Jimmy Pinnell. Jerry Farrell. Joey Mangano represents his uncle, Rich Van Fossen. Jack McNally represents his brothers, Butch and Ralph, and his nephew, Bobby. John Maiden. John also represents his brother, Jerry Maiden. Terry Hammis. Eleanor Bonder represents her husband, Lou Bonder, and her brother-in-law, Dr. Jim Bonder. Sid Young. Ron Halley. Ron also represents his father, Teener Halley. Bobby Warner. Jim Howitt. Joe D'Angelo. Joe also represents his nephew, John. Rich Bogle. John Bonder. John also represents his father, Tony. George Conowall. Dapper Welsh. Paul Bennett. And I represent my father, Babe Gagliano. Did we miss anyone? Buddy Rigner. These are your Hall of Famers. Now it is time to introduce our new Hall of Famers. And our first Hall of Famer to be inducted tonight will be Kevin Boyle. And Kevin will be presented by Jerry Boyle. Jerry Boyle is the father of Kevin Boyle. And I don't know if many of you people remember this, but Jerry Boyle was all Catholic in football at St. Joseph's Prep. And after he got out of high school, he married Peg, and they raised 9 children. To present Kevin Boyle, his father, Jerry Boyle.
I will honor Kevin tonight, not with his sports abilities in the bio, but a little bit of Paul Harvey's The Rest of the Story. Kevin started with the Wissahickon Braves organization back when we were a community of football, basketball, baseball. Every one of the kids knew each other. Great times back then. But I remember the first time that Kevin went to the Wissahickon Braves back at Daisy, and they put him on the line. I was amazed. I'm an old running back, and in my perception, the only thing I remember about linemen, they had big rear ends. However, that changed very quickly. They took him to running back the following year, and I think, and I'm pretty sure of this, that every weight class from there to 8th grade, I think they won the championship. He and his teammates did a hell of a job there. Then that brings us into high school. That's where he has acquired his skills as a wide receiver, and I mean good hands, but that wasn't his only ability. He could do something with the ball after he received it. That's what made him a star. But in his junior year, he quit football. And why did he quit football? He thought he was a good basketball player. And we all know that everybody who played at Terrace and Hermit are the best basketball players in the city. But his excuse was, Coach Morris doesn't like people who play two sports. So he didn't play in his junior year. But finally he did, and he did all those things in his senior year, and I think that he could have done a lot more. There was one thing that, as a father, and I kept these statistics, he should have been first team defensive halfback. His problem was he didn't know how to intercept a football. With the hands he had on offense, he dropped 10 to 12 footballs that season. But I do want to thank him. He's been a great son. I'm very proud of all my children and my in-laws. And I think that each one of us with Peggy and my children are very proud of Kevin tonight. Mr. President, I am proud to present Kevin Boyle for induction into the 21st Ward Athletic Association Sports Hall of Fame. And one other thing, all of us parents out there, we all know when they leave the roost to go and make their own lives, they leave junk behind. I thought that I would give Kevin some of the junk he left behind when he left the house.
Actually, Mommy wanted them. So I never left the house, actually. Thanks. I'm not very good at speeches, as when I went away to college and school wasn't my best subject. I remember I had a speech class, and first time I went, the guy goes, everybody has to give a 2-minute speech. And I stood up, and I think I messed up the first word, and I said F. And he goes, son, sit down, you're nothing to be a truck driver anyway. So I got a B in that class, as long as I didn't have to give speeches. But here goes. Just bear with me here. First, I would like to congratulate the other inductees, Rob, who I played with for a long time, Ron, all I do is hear stories about the Maiden family, Tom, who I just met through Murph and Eddie Jones and them, who's a great drinker, and he tells a lot of stories. Nina, I really don't know you, but I know Tom from growing up, and he was a hell of a coach at Northlight. Just achievements and induction in 21st Ward Hall of Fame. I would like to thank the 21st Ward Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me for this great honor. I especially want to thank Frank Gagliano for his great support, because he did tell the only person that I would listen to, my father, to get that resume in. Growing up in Manayunk and Roxborough area and playing baseball, basketball, and football in the 21st Ward was not only a wonderful experience for a kid, but also an experience that taught me many life lessons. Not only did I learn how to play the game the right way, I also learned life skills like discipline, sportsmanship, and determination. These skills have helped me throughout my life when trying to achieve the goals I set for myself. Now that I am older and wiser at times, it is easy to see how the opportunities given to me by playing the 21st Ward Sports Hall of Fame have impacted my life. From playing ball at Roman Catholic and having a memorable athletic career, playing college football at Del Valle, and to coaching and reffing. I am especially grateful for the opportunity I had to share the knowledge and experience I've learned from playing ball in the 21st Ward. Being able to share what I learned with young players is both rewarding and gratifying through all the years that I coached at 21st Ward. The friendships that I made through my involvement in 21st Ward have lasted throughout my life and have a lasting effect on me. Seeing my kids, my nieces and nephews playing ball on the 21st Ward teams has continued my loyalty and gratitude to this great organization. It has given me a lifetime worth of memories. There are many people that I would like to thank for their support. So we're winding down already, which is good. Frank already has the timer up, right? First, to my family, Janet, Liam, who says he's away at school right now. He said he's studying for finals, which is hard to believe. And Tegan, my beautiful daughter, for the constant love and support. I am able to do these things that I love, to coach and ref, because you know what it means to me. You made many sacrifices for me, and I want to thank you. To Wissahickon AA, who is the greatest organization that I ever been a part of, and I just want to thank especially Mike Rostanova, Bob Murphy, the Gratzinger family, and the Lobiando family, who probably was a big founder of the Wissahickon AA family, and I did marry one, so I really had to say their name, for all they've done to teach me and support me through the years. To the Boyle and Egan family, they said they were showing up, but they didn't. To Joe Fitzpatrick, who I played with all my life and who is my best friend, for their support and encouragement while I was playing ball, and the continued love and support throughout my life. And finally, to my parents, to my mother, for all the back rubs that you gave me after a tough game, and I swear I gotta come back down for more. For telling me that I never played a bad game or made a bad call, Speedy. And for just being my mother. To my father, there aren't enough words to express how much you influenced my life. You were my first coach, teaching me the fundamentals, telling me the stories about John Boyce and how you never played with a ball, football, baseball. It was all about just lining up on the field and how to play the game right. Giving me the most valuable instructions of my life. I will never forget the time we spent together after the many games, giving me direction, even though I didn't follow him a lot. And no matter how, if we won or lost, you were always there. Dad, I wish I could put your name right next to mine, because I wouldn't be receiving this award without you. Thank you.
Dad, come up. Dad, come up with him. So, put that back over there. Okay, Dad, hold that on there. Good job, brother. Good job. Okay, you got to get another piece of paper, Ken. Hold on. Good job. All right. Thank you. All right.
Okay. Our next inductee will be Nina Serpak. And to introduce Nina will be Jim Kasanis. Jim had the pleasure of playing soccer for his uncle Jerry Kasanis. And when Jim went on to Princeton University, he played varsity soccer there. And then Jim went on to George Washington University, where he received his law degree. To present Nina, Counselor Jim Kasanis.
I also will congratulate all the honorees and inductees this evening. I have the great honor to present Nina Serpak for induction into the 21st Ward Athletic Association Sports Hall of Fame tonight. Many of you have seen or heard of her accomplishments across a range of playing surfaces and over many years, whether it's in the basketball and volleyball and indoor soccer gyms, to the soccer fields outside or the softball fields. And we're talking about Roxborough High School, at Kendrick, and then on to Villanova and beyond. And you can read these laurels and accomplishments in the program book. But I want to highlight three special qualities that I believe make her particularly worthy for induction, and they're qualities that all transcendent athletes like her share. First, she made her teams and her teammates better, and she made them winners. And if you look at the program book, you'll see field hockey team goes to a public league championship final. Softball teams go to the public league championship final, win the public league championship. Her softball teams down at the rec would win championships. You'll see all those types of winners in the book. Second, yes, she's an athlete that you wanted to see play. And we've all witnessed athletes of this caliber. You think of like an Eddie Boone or Billy Boone when they're about ready to come to bat, or Apollo Gamboro in soccer, a Cy Casper in softball. And actually, if you go down the list of the inductees, you'll see most of them there too. Well, Nina's of that quality as well. I can remember a few nights and summer nights when I would be down at Kendrick and you would walk past the softball field and I would see that she was playing. You would want to stay and watch and behold. And the reason is you just had this feeling that they were going to do something spectacular. The third thing is that she was a trailblazer and an inspiration to female athletes then and now. Let us not forget that when she played, the popularity and expansion of female sports had not been realized, and the opportunities were much more limited, and the female athletes weren't recognized and appreciated for what they were and what they accomplished. But what she did for female sports and all of the different sports she did has now inspired those of us who support, coach, parent, myself, girls, to play sports, to compete, and to revel in the glory of sports. And so I'd like to finish by noting that I think that she exemplifies those athletes in that Nike ad last summer that came out. I don't know if you've seen it, where there are famous female athletes in various sports, and they would appear on screen and they would say, "I am an athlete." And at the end, there was a narrator who would say, "It's not a girl thing, it's not a boy thing, it's a skill thing." And that's why, for those reasons, Mr. President, I am proud to present Nina Zerpak for induction into the 21st Ward Athletic Association Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow, thank you. I'm very honored to be here tonight to accept this award. I'm especially honored to be here with my friends and my family, and it's wonderful to see some old friends and faces I haven't seen in quite some time. Thank you, Jimmy, for introducing me. Jimmy's an old friend of mine. I value his friendship, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be here tonight. I'd also like to thank the 21st Ward Hall of Fame Voting Committee for voting for me, and congratulations to all the other inductees. You know, sports in one way or another have always been part of my life. Growing up in Roxborough in the 70s, we didn't have cell phones or iPods, no laptops or internet with this Facebook thing. We didn't even have movie DVDs or cable TV. But I was lucky because I had two older brothers who were into sports. They taught me how to play baseball, soccer, football, everything. And I want to say thank you to my brothers Anthony and Jean for being nice enough to let their little sister join in. I was also really lucky to have a great friend and a close neighbor. She taught me how to play field hockey the summer before I started high school. She was a senior and I was a freshman. And it was great having a friend on the field hockey team and someone to walk to school with. And I'm really happy she's here tonight. Her name's Elaine Kritz, and I want to thank her. Thank you. Of course, I would like to thank my coaches. A great big giant thank you to all my rec league coaches and inter-county league coaches. And to my high school coaches, Mrs. Christensen for field hockey, Miss Moan and Miss Miles for basketball, Miss Moan and Mr. Aponic for softball, and at Villanova, Mr. Lee Stevens for soccer, and Miss Debbie McKee for softball. I was very fortunate to have these great coaches, and they taught me a lot, and they taught me a lot from the teams they put together. And speaking about teams, you know, all the sports that I played were team sports. And I know that the sum of the team is never greater than any one individual. So for me to be receiving this award tonight tells me something that I already know. I played on a lot of great teams. I was surrounded by terrific athletes. There was one athlete in particular that mirrored my high school sports. Her name's Diane Preston. We played field hockey, basketball, and softball together. And just about a month and a half ago, Diane was inducted into the Roxborough High School Sports Hall of Fame. And I just want to say that I played softball, 11, 12 years through high school and college. And Diane was by far the best first baseman I have ever had a chance to play with. And for those of you who don't know Diane, she stands about 6 foot something. She has a wingspan from here to like way over there. So for those of us in the infield, it was a great comfort to look over to first base and see her. Because we knew we just had to get the ball somewhere in her vicinity, and she would find a way to catch it, make the out, and make the rest of us look really good. So just want to say thank you to Diane. And also at that banquet, I got a chance to talk to Mr. Howitt, and he was a coach and teacher at the high school during my high school years. And he mentioned how my graduating class had a lot of great athletes, boys and girls. So I went home and I looked in my yearbook, and I found that from 1974 to 1978, we won 7 public league championships. 1 in softball, 1 in boys soccer, 2 in volleyball, and 3 in girls gymnastics. But what you won't see in the yearbook is that we played in at least 5 more championship games. Two, personally, I remember very well softball championships that we lost, and another one in field hockey. And I know the boys soccer team felt that same sting a couple times. But overall, it was just a wonderful time for sports at Roxborough High School. You know, I've thanked a number of people, but the most important one I've yet to say, and that's to my parents. My mom is here tonight, and my dad's watching from above. But you know, as a kid, you never really stop and tell your parents how much you appreciate everything they do for you. So tonight I want to say to my mom, thanks. To you and Dad for everything you ever done for me, for all the games you cheered us on, for all those uniforms you washed, but especially for your words of encouragement and inspiration and love. Thank you. You know, I believe that sports can bring out the best in a person. It teaches teamwork and fair play, and it produces rewards for your hard work and discipline. Sports for me has been a great experience. I've made a lot of friendships that I cherish today. I was lucky enough to marry a sports guy, although with the Flyers playoffs lately gets really loud in our family room between the two of us. But we're really happy that our children, Christy and Tommy, enjoy sports. Because as parents, you know, there's nothing better than to watch your kids participate in something you know will benefit them in all parts of their life. So just one last time, I really want to thank my friends and my family who took the time to be here tonight. It really means a lot to me. I'll never forget it. Thank you.
Got it?
Well, it's heavy.
These are also good. Congratulations, great job.
Our next inductee will be Ron Maiden. And to induct Ron will be his brother-in-law, Father Farley. Father Farley went to St. John's, Roman Catholic. And most notably, in a few weeks, he will be celebrating his 40th year as a priest. And he will put his blessing on Ron Maiden's entry into our 21st Ward Sports Hall of Fame. Father Farley.
Good evening, everyone. My job tonight is to be brief. So in order to help me be brief, I'll read it. Tonight I really didn't plan on mentioning any of the wonderful accomplishments that Ron Maiden was able to achieve in his all too brief 60 years or so of ball playing. Football, baseball, softball. For these facts and figures, you may go, as we are invited to do so much these days, more and more, to Mary and Ron's website, the halloffame.com.org. .not. There you will be able to see all the sports prowess and impressive feats and accomplishments of this marvel of a man. As someone very wise once said, all is gift. Ron Maiden has made great use of his gifts and abilities in sport. As a young athlete at Roxborough High School, and all of the years of his ball playing in football and baseball and softball, golf, cards, everything he plays, he is successful and very competitive in a wonderful way. In that young man body of his, he was all heart and head and grit. He used the gifts given to him by God to have fun and bring excitement to a number of us who always like to see someone do well. He played his best in sports and all things competitive. It is a credit to him that he is being inducted into this Hall of Fame. And as a friend of mine used to say, thanks for doing what you were asked to do. And so, Ronnie, tonight I want to thank you for allowing this to happen, for allowing us to honor you in this Hall of Fame. I was privileged to hear just recently one of your last games when you pitched as a free agent for a softball team opposing your son Christopher's team. I think this was only about 10 years ago. On that occasion, Chris Maiden was at bat against his father, Ronnie. I think the story was that he struck out the first 2 times. On his third at-bat, he missed the first pitch, screwed himself into the ground swinging hard at the second pitch, and then sent this frozen rope to the shortstop. The ball was hit so well, shortstop could not catch it, and Chris was on first base. He got a hit off the old man and stymied his foe at shortstop. Not a bad way to end a sports career. Watching your son legging out an infield hit. I want to congratulate my brother-in-law, who has always been a wonderful human being on the field of sport and in all of his life experience. And there are no perfect people, and Ronnie isn't a perfect man, but he has always been there for me and for our family, and he has always been impressive in that great quote from Hamlet, that to thine own self be true. I think he has been true to himself throughout all of his life, not afraid to speak his truth, not afraid to live the truth. He has been a faithful husband, a faithful father, a faithful friend, a faithful brother. And for some of these reasons and all of these reasons, Mr. President, I am proud to present Ron Maiden for induction into the 21st Ward Athletics Association Sports Hall of Fame.
First thing I'm going to do is congratulate the committee for the work they do. It's very difficult. And also, I want to congratulate the fellow inductees tonight. And I had a voice when I came in here, and I don't know what happened to it. But thanks, Father. At my age, I chose him because I wanted to be on the safe side. I think you all know my brother, not you, all of you, but my brother John, who has been a great athlete. He's in 2 Hall of Fames. My brother Jerry, a great athlete, who is in 2 Hall of Fames. But many of you don't know that I had a 4th brother and got his acclaim in North Carolina because he's in 2 Hall of Fames in North Carolina. So now I'm in 2. So hitting 4 for 8, that's 500. That's not bad. Yes. And thinking about my genes with my brothers and myself, I started to think about my father, who worked very hard all his life and hardly had any time for recreation. And one time I had the opportunity to play a game against him. And I never realized he went out to shortstop. He was unbelievable. So that's part of us, I guess. But a big part is my mother, who's only this big. Had paralysis when she was 6 years old and had a foot 4 inches shorter than her other foot. She was at a football game one day watching me play, and somebody didn't hear the whistle, and the guy kept doing a little bit more than he should have been doing, and they had to hold my mother back from running on the field. My brother John, who I'm happy to say that in 1953, I had the opportunity to play with him, with Billy Purnell, Duke, Billy Walsh, Dapper, in the same backfield. And I consider that the greatest backfield that ever existed. And it was a great opportunity for me. My brother Jerry, I learned from him one thing. We were only 3 years apart, and I could never tackle him when we were playing. So that's why I started to play offense instead of defense. My brother Tommy, who is bigger than most of us, was an unbelievable athlete, 4 no-hitters. I saw him once throw a game where he struck out 20 batters, and that was a 7-inning game. Now to my immediate family, my son Christopher, he did get that hit, and I haven't talked to him since. I have a daughter, Carolyn, and she introduced me in another affair like this, and she did it in 2 minutes. She did so much in 2 minutes that I couldn't believe it, and that's the way she is. She has a very quick mouth, and she's all American at that. Yeah. There's a saying that when the one great scorer comes to score against your name, it's not whether you won or lost, but how you played the game. And I hope that I lived up to that somewhat. Now, I said that in this point now because I have one more person to talk about. My bride. 49 years. She was very sympathetic for my athletic ability. One time I came home from the Roxborough YMCA and my nose was over here instead of here. And one thing I know that you shouldn't interrupt her when she's asleep, but I had to do something. So I gently, she woke up, looked at me, said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Mary, look at my nose." She says, "It's underneath your eyes, so what?" She said, "Go back, find the same guy, and tell him to give the elbow the other side, and everything will be fine." But she is my true love. Not everybody can say that she's literally saved my life hundreds of times. Frank Sinatra said it. I did it my way. Thank you.
And go home to my Lord and be free. Ronnie, we said. Amen. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Our next inductee will be Rob Petit Jr. And to introduce Rob will be Joey Mangano. Now, these fellas have something very unique. They played together on their first organized baseball team together many years ago. And they played together on their last team, a softball team, not too long ago. Now, we all know what Rob did in between, and I'm hoping that Joey can tell us what he did in between. To present Rob Petit, Joey Mangano.
Thanks, Frank, for that warm introduction. And I'm honored here to stand here tonight and introduce my good friend Rob Petit Jr. To the 21st Ward AA Hall of Fame. There's a couple people that Rob could have probably picked to do this. One was Dave Coyne, but he's still reading the speech from Rob's wedding, being his best man. And the other is Nick Lightning, but Nick's too busy worrying that the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. So I'm in by process of elimination. And I want to congratulate everybody, especially Coach Shirley. And Coach, we discussed this before, that Rob's going into the Hall of Fame because of his baseball ability. But if there was a Hall of Fame for bartenders, I'd be there being number one, and I'd have Rob induct me. But enough about that. And as Frank said, Rob and we first met back about 36 years ago. We were 5 years old playing baseball for the Tigers AC. And Rob was the pitcher and I was the catcher. We've been fellow employees at the Henry James for over 19 years. And like I said, Frank said I had 2 minutes to introduce Rob. 2 minutes, how can I talk about Rob in 2 minutes when I got about 25 to talk about myself? So let's get right down to it. And, you can see Rob's biography, but I'll just give you some highlights. Rob played football and baseball at Roxbury High, but he excelled in baseball. He's also been a recent member of the Roxbury High Hall of Fame. He started shortstop 3 years at Roxbury High, sophomore, junior, and senior year. He had a glove, he had an arm, he had speed, and he had power. And they say some of the longest home runs that were hit at Western Field came off his bat. His sophomore year, he was all-public first team, third team all-Catholic. His junior and senior year, he was first team all-public and all-city. He was the team MVP and captain in his senior year. His senior year, he did not strike out in 19 games. Maybe he should give Ryan Howard some lessons. In 1984, he was named to the Philadelphia Inquirer All-Area Team. In 1987, he was named to the Daily News 10-year All-City Team, first team. 2002, he was also named to the Daily News 25-year All-City Team, first team. His accomplishments are numerous, and because of his accomplishments, he was given a full athletic scholarship to Temple University. He could have chose anywhere. And in 1985, he was drafted by the Cleveland Indians. Rob, after that, he came back and gave back to the community as an assistant coach at Roxbury High School. Frank did say Rob and I did play baseball in the beginning, and then we played softball for the Henry James, and I can remember many nights Dave would call me and say, "Hey, Joe, we got a game tonight. Go bartend for Rob. He's got to play." "All right, Dave, no problem." So, Mr. President, I am proud to present Rob Petit Jr. for induction into the 21st Ward Athletic Association Sports Hall of Fame. Robbie, congratulations.
I knew I should have picked Nick. Thanks, Joey. Good evening, everyone. I would like to congratulate all the other inductees. I would also like to thank God for my wonderful family, my wife Alicia, and my two children, Robert and Gianna. I would also like to acknowledge my family, friends, who all took time out of their busy schedules to enjoy this wonderful evening with me. When Kevin Smith told me I was being inducted to the Hall of Fame, it was the most wonderful night of my life. Especially to belong to 2 Hall of Fames with my father, excuse me, and to be a part of this with Coach Shirley and Kevin Boyle. I shouldn't be mentioning either one of you guys. You both accomplished so much in your careers. My mom and dad, those of you who don't know my mother was handicapped, taught me everything about this game. Every single day she pitched, hit ground balls to me, and did everything for me. I inherited my dad's athletic ability. All my father did was work. He didn't really get to see me play till I was in high school, but gave me everything he could possibly give me. I wish my father could be here tonight. He's not doing too well. My mother's also watching from above. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for being my biggest fans. It's a great honor to accept this induction to the 21st Ward Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Our last inductee tonight will be Tom Shirley, and Tom Shirley will be presented by John O'Connor. John O'Connor, many years ago when he got out of the service, he went down to North Lake Boys Club and watched the game. I believe Speedy Morris was coaching in that game. And John later went and volunteered or whatever, got a job coaching at North Lake. And later, when Speedy moved on to high school, John moved on with Speedy. John also introduced Tom Shirley into basketball, and he's been a great influence for Tom over the years. To present Tom Shirley, John O'Connor.
When Frankie gave me the rules for 2 minutes and then explained to me that they go by alphabet and that Tom would be last, I couldn't help but thinking, Tom, I think it's the first time in our lives that you and I ever finished last in anything. Anyway, I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to make the presentation of Tom Shirley into the induction of 21st Sports Hall of Fame. Knowing Tom and his family for 40 years has been what I consider to be the epitome of friendship. His mother, his father, his brothers, his sister, it's just been a joy to know them, and it's just the closest thing to family that you can get to. Tom's record is unquestioned. 556 wins, 15-20 win seasons, 70% winning percentage. Those numbers speak for themselves, but I'd like to just talk to Tom, the person, which is a Hall of Fame person. His people skills have been demonstrated at the Philadelphia University over the years since he's been there, in how he has conducted not just his duties as basketball coach of the women's basketball team, which I just explained those statistics, but that of athletic director, which is as much a tedious job as it is one of dedication, and that's been demonstrated to us in the 21st Ward, where he has given his time and talent and the use of the facilities over there to the many organizations here in the 21st Ward. From my personal point of view, he has been a role model for my children. My son Kevin went to Philadelphia University, and Tom was very influential in the financial aid that Kevin needed, not only to get a degree, but those very important life lessons that are so influential in those days when you're in the college years. I might also mention that he had an influence on my nephew Mike, who worked for Tom for a while, and he too learned those life lessons. Both of them are here tonight. That's how much they think of Tom. I might also mention he's godfather of my youngest daughter, Shannon. And that's not an indication of that family, that connection, that the bond that we have over these years. In presenting the award, I must admit a sense of pride, because at the ripe young age of 26, and only my third year of coaching, I must have recognized something in what Tom Shirley was to become when he made my first team when I coached Holy Family CYO. It has led to a lifetime of friendship, admiration, and appreciation of those qualities for which you honor him tonight. Mr. President, I am proud to present to you for induction in the 21st Ward Sports Hall of Fame, Tom Shirley.
Good evening. First of all, congratulations to the inductees, especially Rob, Kevin. Kevin, I think you overstated that. I'm going to have to map quest how to get to Henry James. I don't even know where that is. And John, when I mentioned to Bill Keenan that you were going to be my inductor, he thought maybe there would be a sleepover, so I appreciate you being sure about that. The first two people I have to thank are certainly John O'Connor and Speedy Morris. I mean, they are the two people that introduced me to the game of basketball at the ripe age of about 11 years old. So it was really important to me to find people in my life that could lead me down the right path, and certainly those two individuals did. And Speedy, I want to thank you for nominating me tonight. You know, obviously you've been a great influence in my basketball coaching career. Some of my language may be a little questionable, but I think a lot of the things that I try to do are emulate the way that you coach, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank my family. I was fortunate enough to have my oldest daughter, Kristen, play for me at Philadelphia University for 4 years, and I think that was the thrill of a lifetime. My younger daughter, Kate, not as much interested. I always kid that she was first team All-Mall. She could do an any mall and be an All-American, but she was great. And my wife, Monica, who we've been together 27 years, and that's the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses, the good days and the bad days. So obviously you can't do it without somebody like that, and I appreciate everything she did for me. But most important, I'm very, very honored to be inducted, because this is where I grew up, this is where I lived, this is where my foundation was made at Holy Family, and it's really, really important to me to be a part of this community. You know, going to Holy Family, playing basketball at North Light, playing baseball at the Mud Flats, and I know you're not supposed to say it, but Dago Louis and the Salvation Army, and going to the Palestra. John was just telling my mother about the first time he ever took me to the Palestra when I was in 7th grade and it was snowing, and she didn't even know who I was going with, really. But those things, they're the fabric of my life, and the things that really are important to me, and that I try to preach to my players. And I'm fortunate enough to have 3 of my players come here tonight, and I'm always talking to them about when I grew up and things like that. And Philadelphia University was a great place for me to be. I've been there 19 years. I enjoy every moment of it, and I hope to be able to continue to give back to the community in as many ways as possible. And last but not least, I want to thank my mother and my father. My father passed away 4 years ago, but he's the guy that first introduced me to sports. I know he'd be honored to be here tonight. And my mother, who's my biggest fan, and I want to thank her and tell her that I love her. So thank you very much. I'm honored, and I appreciate the induction. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good job. Good job. That's good with you also. Congratulations once again, my man. Thank you. Nice job.
Would all the inductees please rise, and let's give them one big round of applause. This is the part of the evening that I feel very, very honored to thank my committee. But first of all, I'd like to talk about our previous chairman, George Katzenbach. George couldn't make it here this evening. He had another engagement. But if you remember, I alluded to in the beginning of the program tonight that Joe Donahue was our first chairman, and he handled the banquet and other duties many, many years. And then George Katzenbach came on, and he did a wonderful job. And this is my first year, and 3 chairmen in 30 years. That's not too bad. I'd like to thank the committee, and I'd like to have them stand, and please hold your applause, because these are the people who elect your Hall of Famers. Ernie Borelli, Debbie Marlon, Ted Dubik, Al DeSario, Gretchen Howard, Bob Bowe, Joe Gratzinger. Joe couldn't make it here tonight. It's the first one he's ever missed. He went to a granddaughter's cheerleading competition. And without Joe's wife, Mary Lou, this year, we couldn't have this banquet. She did a wonderful job. She chipped in and helped, and we couldn't do it without her. Nick Sater, Donna Molesky, Mark Monahan, Butch Botanico, Jerry Farrell, Harry Caney, Chris DeFeer, Bob Brucknow, Susan Barber, Ed Peters, Jim Limbiondo, Al Hammer, Lou Capiella, Paul Bennett, John Satone, Kevin Smith, Gino Caffiari, and also I'd like to mention that one of our key members of our committee has been very sick, but he's here tonight and he's on the mend, and he does so much for our committee, and that's Mike Gondos, and also George Fisher. Our chaplain, Gene Leahy, and our webmaster is Greg Powers. I can't thank these people enough for the help that they give me. That's about it for us tonight, but I'd like to appeal to you, the community. If you have any names of any potential Hall of Famers or anybody that you think could be a Hall of Famer, please tell our committee people. We would we would be most grateful if you did. For our benediction, Deacon Gene Leahy.
I thank you first for the privilege of being the chaplain for this group. And there's so much to be said and not that much time to say it in. But I just ask God to continue to bless us, to bless our efforts. We go year in and year out, and we do the best we can, hoping that we can satisfy everyone. But we do it in faith. Faith is a very important part of our organization. And I would just like to close by reciting the Lord's Prayer, if I may. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you next year. Would all the inductees please come forward for one last group picture? Thank you.